All right, we're springtime organization here. Matt Stansbury has brought me his tackle bag, and this is just an absolute disaster. He's got orange caddis along with pink pike flies and crickets all in the same box. So what we're going to talk about today is organizing your fly box. Okay, here we got Matt's collection of flies, of which we're going to go through in a minute. But Matt, how did you get there? I mean, how did you get that organized?
I need the perfect box to get in the top of my waders, and it's usually like this box. So what I would do is I'd be like, this is the perfect size box. And then I fill this with the stuff I need on this trip.
Got it, right.
Put it in my waders, come back, and I don't look at this box for 3 months. But I'm like, holy shit, I've got no prince nymphs.
Well, we're gonna take it from a disorganized state to an organized state. This and while we're doing it, we're gonna go through some of these boxes and throw some of the stuff you left in your waders for 3 weeks that's rusted out, and we're just gonna throw it away. That's what we got to do.
Yep.
Very good. All right. So what we did was we took the saltwater flies that were in a myriad of boxes here and put them in the big cliff box, which is a great boat box or storage box. And so big pike streamers, lingcod flies, smaller clousers, rock bass patterns, all laid out and organized so that I can see what I've got instead of just piled on top of each other. Cliff box is great because it's got these slits in it, and once you jam that stuff down in there, it's not going anywhere. So they're really sturdy box. We're midstream here, and I just want to review kind of how the process is going, which is just we've got the saltwater box nailed down, and it's done. We can close him up. He's ready to go to the boat. We have developed the salmon box, and I'm thinking maybe you're a month away from spring salmon. This box goes away. Doesn't even make the tackle bag, but it's organized. Intruders, jigs, comets, low water, high water, dead drifting. Everything we're due for Chinook is here. This box now goes away. He doesn't even make it to the tackle bag. He doesn't make it in. He's going in the bunker, as it were. Now this process is trout flies. What I did is I laid them all out, and I'm thinking in terms of hatches. And with nymphs, I know that I can probably get all the nymphs in one of these nice CNF boxes. So I'm trying to go all bead heads on this side, and I'm working through. I've got just buku nymphs, all kinds of sizes. This is questionable, but so you got bead heads on one side. So I'm trying to go soft hackles and beadless nymphs on the other side. At least start that way. And then if I just have too many beaded nymphs, which is often the case, I'll fill this side up. And then as I look at all these dry flies, I'm kind of picking them out in terms of season. So green caddis, larger caddis, PMDs. Smaller caddis, March browns, green drakes, don't need to worry about those for a while, so they're going to go in a different box. Golden stones are all getting in one place, again green caddis, and I'll just kind of work from there. And then when I get the little tiny dries, I'll work those out, pick through the soft hackles, pick through the rusted flies, pick through the stuff that when you pick that fly up, would you tie it on ever again? If you can say no to it, pitch it. And here's our pitch pile. I mean, it is grown, and this is hard for Matt, but he's gonna just throw this in the garbage. But this stuff's rusted, it's rotten. He's never gonna tie it on. Okay, so what we organized Matt's fly boxes this afternoon, and we came up with a usable and organized fashion over here. And then over here, all our stock boxes are empty. Everything here is completely empty and organized. We've got nothing here. He can use those boxes at some point, but there's nothing in them now. We had to chuck all of these flies. I mean, these are rusted hooks, tied with too much wine, beer. There's a number of things here, and the bottom line is, when I asked Matt, would you tie any of these flies on? He said no. So why keep them in your closet? Why keep them in your fly box if you're never going to tie them on? So these are gone. I mean, we don't need to worry about this. All of these had chironomids or eggs or something in them. They're all gone. So when we boiled it down to these things, we boiled it down seasonally and species. So we went steelhead here, eggs, streamers, dry style or more grease line, and then down and dirty, and then eggs. we boiled it down to salt water. And I mean, these aren't going to go on the same trip. I mean, that's the key here. This stays at home. When we go steelheading, we take this one. We go saltwater, we take this one. Another box, we put streamers and chironomids. So for Matt, he fishes bull trout. He fishes a little bit of lakes, but not a lot. But chironomids and streamers, bull trout. This box can go with him when he goes to the Metolius or Central Oregon. And then we ended up with some fall flies. Again, I don't see this box going with them in the spring, so I kept these out. We can integrate these fall flies into just 2 trout boxes is all Matt ended up with. All of this stuff over here, he ended up with 2 trout boxes. He's got caddis and stones, little yellow stones, PMDs, smaller caddis, Adams, March Browns. So this is his spring dry fly box. His spring nymph box, and by the way, his spring dry fly box, and I thought we would have to be more seasonal about it, but we really ended up putting all his flies in all of these boxes. We had very little stock seasonal boxes. You know, I can see here he has no blue-winged olives, so problem. You know, he's got a spot for him, but he's got nothing going there. Then we did nymphs and wet flies. Posse buggers and princes he's in good shape with. He's lacking on the larger stones. He's got a lot of wet flies, but could use a lot more work in the soft tackle range, in the beadless nymph range. And he's got a lot of space here to develop the spring, summer wets, or even maybe you move some of these larger dries and just take 1 box. So that's it for trout. And then we ended up with a few indicators that were scattered all over the stock boxes. And then again, another box that he goes on. This is a 1-trip box. This is a salmon box. Intruders, comets, jigs, tube flies, stuff like that in here. So, I mean, if he's going fishing in one place right now, 1 trout destination, he takes 2 boxes locally. He goes Central Oregon, 1 box. Steelhead, 1 box. This box really stays home until the fall. Fall caddis, gray drakes, saltwater, and salmon. And so he's organized. He's got you know, just his trout stuff's right there. And we had all this somehow. And that's he's organized and ready to roll.
How do I keep it that way?
That really didn't take it that long. How do I keep it that way? Well, I mean, I think what he's going to use, let's say you go fishing and you end up pulling 6 or 8 trout flies out of one of these boxes. Maybe if you don't have the discipline to put them back in their spot, each one of these there's a slit, and you should do that. You know, you use a little plastic box or a little foam patch and put your flies on that, and then you've got to address this every couple of weeks to keep it somewhat organized. And try to, you know, stay away from just throwing stuff in these big plastic wide open things that basically you get a pile of flies in something like this, you can't really see what you have.